What's up everyone? Welcome back to Wingman Wednesdays. I'm Bruce Waha. Hope y'all are having a good day. Now in today's episode we're going to be talking about tech school, the post-BMT training environment, and reclassing. Now everyone's experience in tech school is very different, even if you have the same job. I'm just here to share my experience and my opinions going through the process myself. Alright, let's get into it. Yeah, I'm on leave, that's why I got all this facial hair. But you're probably asking yourself, Gonzo, what do you mean by post-BMT training environment? Well, the post-BMT training environment would be like a preliminary school to your actual tech school. Now, not many AFSCs have a preliminary tech school, or also known as indoctrination courses. Most of those are typically to the special operations field, and that course actually is held at Medina, which is a sub-base at Lackland Air Force Base. Now, when I signed up to join the Air Force, I signed up as a 1 Charlie 4 X1, which is a tactical air control party, which is also known as TACP. This is one of the jobs that's actually under the special operations field. And much like other jobs in the special operations field, you are required to complete the indoctrination course for that specific job. Now, all of these are actually held at the 342nd, which is a sub-base of Lackland Air Force Base called Medina. So as soon as you graduate from BMT and everybody's jumping on the bus and going off to their tech school, you do the same, but you just go to the other side of 410 to Medina. Now, during your time there, you really do see how fragile the human body is. I saw guys fall out because of heat injuries, because of broken bones or torn muscles. There's a lot of guys that get pulled out of the career field entirely because of it. And that's actually what happened to me. And during my time, just seeing the amount of stress that you go through both physically and mentally and spiritually just to get through the indoctrination course, I have a massive amount of respect for anyone that is in special operations or is under the SOCOM flag. For instance, out of my flight and my brother's flight, which was a total of probably about 18 people that were going to go through the indoc course for TACP, I believe only 4 of them ended up getting the beret. Now, I'm not saying that I was a TACP. Never at all did I claim the title of TACP. And that's why I have a tremendous amount of respect for anyone in the SOCOM field, especially the TACP members. So if you ever see me out in the world, come over, say hi, there's a shot of tequila waiting for you. At this point, I've been in for 8 years, and I still think that the months that I had there at the 342nd are still some of the best that I've had in my career. And the amount of camaraderie and brotherhood that you experience there is amazing. The closest thing that I can compare it to is probably the deployment environment, or if you go to Korea or Turkey or somewhere like that, where you're completely separated from the rest of your family. However, I was taken out of that career field due to an injury, and that's how I got started on my reclass process. So if you get eliminated or removed from your immediate tech school or your indoc course, that doesn't mean that's the end of your Air Force career. Now, depending on your attitude and what the instructors and cadres saw, they can recommend you for reclassification. Now, simply what that means is that you're going to fill out a form. On this form, you're going to fill out a dream sheet of the jobs that you are interested in outside of the battlefield or whatever career field that you just got eliminated from. The Air Force is going to look at those jobs and either take it under consideration or throw it out the window, and you are now going to be assigned a new job. Now, you can either accept that job or you can get out of the military. Those are basically your options. The The most common jobs that people are reclassed into are medical, security forces, logistics, or services. And I was reclassed as a 4 Alpha 0X1, health services management, in demand and indispensable. What that basically means is that you're going to be medical admin. You're going to be doing the paperwork for the whole med group, clinic, whatever type of medical facility you're assigned to. Now, medical school for the Air Force is actually held at Fort Sam Houston, which is also in San Antonio. So all I did was end up getting on another bus, going further north to Fort Sam Houston, and completing my tech school there. Now, the environment is day and night, from special operations to regular Air Force. Now, they tell you before you leave, this environment, the way people socialize with each other, the way people interact with each other, that's not how it is in the regular Air Force. And sad, but yeah, that's true. I mean, at the 342nd, the facilities is kind of like Army-esque, maybe a step above Air Force BMT. However, at the 383rd, everything is brand new, everything works, it's sparkling, it's clean, it has the most up-to-date technology at your disposal. It's really nice, actually, but also it is way more regimented. Every aspect of your life and your day is timed and accounted for, and I was not a fan of that. In my opinion, Fort Sam Houston, no thank you. I didn't enjoy myself there at all. However, it is where the Air Force does their medical training, so go there, do what you gotta do. You know, make as many memories and as many laughs and as many friends as you can while you're there, and just get through it and get onto your Air Force career. Now, to my knowledge, the schedule for most tech schools are about the same. I think here at Fort Sam Houston and going through 4A school, you started off at 05, you wanted to go grab breakfast. You also had PT during that time on whatever date it was. You would also get cleaned up, do everything you need to do, be back and be done and get ready for formation. For super flights around 6, I think no later than 6:30 between those two times. And you would fall in, you would taller tap, you would adjust yourselves, and you're now in super flight getting ready to march over to the schoolhouse. Gonzo, what's super flight? Well, super flight is exactly what it sounds like. It is a really big flight that are marching in unison one after another, kind of like parade style. There's people called in cadence, there's road guards up in the front, people in the front, guidons in the front. It's a whole big endeavor. I wasn't really a fan of it at all, but again, it's one of those things that's just part of the training environment. Fall in line, do what you gotta do, and go on about your day. For the 4As, tech school was roughly about a month to about a month and a half, depending on holidays and stuff like that. During that time as a 4A, you're going to be doing a lot of memorization, a lot of vocabulary, learning programs and systems that you're going to utilize on a daily basis at whatever clinic environment or medical environment you get placed into. 4As, which is what they're more commonly known as, handle all the administrative work within the clinic, and that's a good thing for people to get bored very easily. Now, the days in the Air Force of going and doing one specific job for your entire career, no, those days are gone, man. Now, even though you have the administration job, you can get put into many different flights and offices, which allows you to have a diverse background in your military career. Me personally, I've been in for 8 years. I've been a unit deployment manager, which worked in readiness. I've been an IT systems administrator. I've worked in the records room. I've worked front desk, clinical flight medicine, and right now my special duty is working with patient movement and patient transport systems. So if you get to a clinic and you're given a job that you're not 100% thrilled about, let your leadership know, and when it's time to cycle, your leadership knows that you want to go into maybe this office or this office, the probability of you moving is actually pretty high. With also being a 4A, they're needed everywhere, so that's worldwide. Now that also means that you're opened up to not only Air Force units, but also Army, but also Navy, joint bases. All of those are open to a 4A, so if you get into the 4A career field, you can literally go anywhere. Now the unique thing about Fort Sam Houston is that it's a joint training environment, which means there's going to be Army training there, there's going to be Navy training there. To my knowledge, I don't know if the Marines are there, they may be there, the Coast Guard may be there, but I know for a fact that the 4As, we trained with the 68 Gulfs, which is the Army equivalent of our job. Now the 4As and the 68 Gulfs are in this training environment and in this course together, which means not only are they going to train together and learn these processes, programs, and systems together, but they're also going to learn about each other's branches. For instance, the Air Force will learn the soldier's creed, the soldier's motto, all the things that they hold dear that they go through and learn in their boot camp. And in turn, the 68 Gulfs will learn the Airman's creed and the Air Force motto as well. And that's on top of already the vocabulary, the memorizations, the programs, the systems, all that you're going to be learning while you're going through the course. Now, I'm not complaining. That's really nothing in comparison to the 4 Nancy's. And I believe that the 4Ns train with the Navy corpsmen, and they go through the course together as well. Now, I do know that the 4Ns were some of the most stressed out individuals that were at the squadron the entire time that I was there. They're also a big class, and they're also a large part of the overall squadron in numbers. You're going to be arriving at the schoolhouse roughly about 7 o'clock. You're going to go and you're going to have a lunch period, which is usually about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I think maybe even certain days 2 hours, depending on how quickly you went through class. And then you end up going back to the schoolhouse, finishing off your day, and then are forming up at 1600. And again, you're doing the super flight thing, you're taller tapping, you're lining up, you're forming, all that, and then you're marching back. Someone's calling cadence, there's people in the front, people inside, you're columning, you're flanking, you're doing all that stuff all the way back to the squadron where you wait. You get a debriefing at the end of the day from the MTLs, and then you go into parade rest and you wait for retreat to start playing. You come to attention, you salute the flag, and then you're released for the day. Now your evening is pretty much going to consist of studying, the gym, dinner, and being able to fit in some kind of social time there. It's all about time management. Now the camaraderie there is a lot like it is in regular Air Force. You're gonna end up hanging out with people that are in your job or in your course. They're also gonna be hanging out with people that work in your environment, which would be the squadron. And then in the Air Force, it's usually in your group, or your squadron, or your flight. Now I felt bad for the Army because they're still like in Air Force B&T mode, which means their schedule is very regimented. Unlike the Air Force, the Air Force can leave base at the end of the day if you're a certain phase of training. On the weekends, you can stay away from the squadron. You don't have to come back for the whole weekend. The Air Force gets a lot more liberties than the Army does. And I went through 4A tech school during the winter. So there were times I would wake up in the morning, I'd go to the window, I'd open it, and it would be snowing. And I'm like, okay, cool, we're not doing PT today. No problem. Go ahead, extra 30 minutes to do whatever it is that I wanted to do. The Army, no, they're still out there. They're running, they're doing push-ups, they're doing everything. They're going on their battalion runs. And you're just sitting there, just like the comic, looking at the Army going, yeah, they out here really living in tents, and they're not really living in tents, but you know what I mean. Some of the tips that you'll want to know when you're going to Fort Sam Houston for your medical tech school would be, if at all possible, have a vehicle there. Your life will be tremendously easier with a vehicle. Now you'll have to get permission to park on base, and you'll also need permission to be able to drive as a student, but if you can do it, I definitely recommend it. However, you can't be a student and have a motorcycle. The other thing is, make friends with locals. They know what's going on in the community. They know what areas to go to have this kind of experience or that kind of experience. They also know what kind of areas not to go to, which is good information to have. Because despite your feelings about tech school, it's going to be over pretty quick, and you're going to look back at those days and you're going to wish you made more memories. You're going to wish you had made more friends. You're going to wish you had taken advantage of that time with those people, and you're going to run into these people later on. And one of the best things about that is that the Air Force life, the military life in general, is constantly moving, constantly changing, constantly putting you in new environments, new countries, new jobs, all of that. So whenever you run into someone from back in the day, it's refreshing, it's awesome to have someone there that you don't have to build a new friendship with. They already know you. They already know who you are and the kind of person that you are, and it's such a great feeling to be able to reconnect with those people and, hopefully pick up where you left off. And last but not least, while you're there in tech school, whatever it may be, enjoy your time, make the most of it. All in all, tech school is going to be good, it's going to be bad, but most of all, it's going to be memorable. As the class winds down and you're finishing off your time there, you're basically waiting for orders. Once you get your orders, you kind of know where you're going. You can start doing preparations if you're going overseas. You can let your family know. And just know that just because you got orders to a location doesn't mean that it's set in stone. It can change. It's all about the needs of the Air Force. So, for instance, I had orders to go to Italy, and about 2 weeks before I was supposed to graduate and go to Italy, they changed my orders. They didn't tell me where I was going, and it wasn't until about 2 weeks after graduation that I found out that I was heading to my first duty station, which was still in Texas at Laughlin Air Force Base, which is the southest of the South as far as military bases go in Texas. And then once you're done with your course, with your tech school, it'll be graduation. Now you have the opportunity to have your family come and see you during your graduation. So a lot of people take advantage of that. I took advantage of that. However, one thing to understand is, at least when I went through it, during graduation, you're able to visit with your family, take pictures with your family, have a little bit of time with your family, and by a little bit, I mean maybe an hour or so. But you don't really get that time like you did in boot camp, where you leave with them for an evening, you get to hang out for a few hours. You don't really get that opportunity. You graduated, you got your orders, you're set to go. They get to go back to their hometown and assist their recruiter there with whatever it is that they need. Most of the time, the recruiter has a few small things for you to help them with, to talk to potential recruitees, and it's really just time for you to spend there with your family and prep to PCS. And as always, there are YouTubers that have gone to tech school since when I was there. So I'm definitely going to leave a link down to their videos and their channels down below. And they should be able to give you the freshest outlook on what's going on in 4A tech school. So definitely be sure to check them out as well after this video. Be sure to check back with us on our next episode where we discuss the do's and the don'ts of being at your first base. Now everyone, I would love to hear y'all's experience going through Air Force Tech School. Be sure to share that down in the comments below. Well guys, I hope you found that information beneficial. Thanks for stopping by Wingman Wednesday. I'm Bruce with Waha, asking, hey, where's your wingman? You guys take it easy.